So defining resilience. I'm interested to know how you define resilience.
Yep. Well, the actual definition of resilience is quite boring. So, it's resilience is the ability to withstand adversity and bounce back from difficult life events.
Yep.
But I like to look at it a little bit sparkly.
Right.
Think of a diamond.
Yep.
It came from a piece of charcoal that eloquently handled stress exceptionally. It found its uniqueness. It got through a challenging time, and it became this beautiful diamond. Yeah. And I like to see resilience as that, because I think through time, through challenge, through adversity, and through uniqueness, that we can come out as a beautiful gift that this world has to give. And we all have so much to offer. And if we can find a little bit of sparkly, then we're on the path of complete happiness, contentment, resilience, and offering the best version of ourselves on a daily basis.
Fantastic. And so what role do values play in resilience? So you talk about being the best version of yourself. Presumably, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to have a view around, what you're looking to get out of life and what you're going to contribute, and strengths and weaknesses and values and that type of thing. So can you talk a bit around how important it is understanding your values and then bringing that into your resilience plan, we could call it, if for want of a better thing?
Yes. So I firmly believe that values are the essence of our being. I'm a big believer of knowing who you are and what values you stand for, and living those day by day. So I think that values play a huge important aspect to resilience. But it's not having resilience in your, bag of values. It's actually having other elements that contribute to resilience, such as courage, strength, excellence, perseverance, belief. All these different attributes that are actually core values of mine enable me to find that resilience when it matters. And so I think that values are intrinsic, and getting to know your values. And I would recommend to take some time out. If you can't clearly and articulately find what your values mean to you, take that moment, put aside 3 hours and really have a deep dive into what's important to you, what values at the core of who you are and how you want to live. Because when we remind ourselves of them and we live by them, we know we're on the right path for ourselves.
Fantastic. And how do you feel about the concept? People talk about acceptance or surrender and knowing your values. So how important do you think it is just to sort of, that concept of being really honest with yourself, which isn't always hard. It's often quite hard, rather, for a lot of people to really accept where they're at and the type of person they are. Is there any counsel you can give to people, or advice you can give to people around, how they can really get a true picture of where they're at?
Yeah, I have this little quote for myself, and it's reflect, don't regret. Yeah. And I think that, we often make mistakes. We make, success comes from failures. But if we take the time to reflect, we're not regretting. And I don't think that any of us deserve to regret. I think that if we reflect, we can take the time to learn and to grow from the mistakes that we've made. Yeah. And I think having that honest and transparent conversation with yourself is critical in being able to learn from the mistakes that we've made. Yeah. But be nice in the process. Be nice to yourself, saying, I'm not going to regret this, but I'm going to reflect, learn and grow.
Yeah, fantastic. So learning and growing. Talk to us a bit around, there's a lot of stuff, and we've spoken, in previous episodes around, the 1%, the marginal gains, but then there's actually a podcast I share a lot, the High Performance podcast with Paul McGinley, who's a golfer and Ryder captain. His view is the quote from Corey Pavin is, the big thing is the big thing. So you can argue it either ways. What's your view as people want to become more resilient? You know, marginal gains versus the big thing is the big thing.
Yeah, so I think it's taking the time. So we often are fought with wanting to achieve certain goals, and success doesn't happen overnight. The big thing doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know, an athlete's journey, we would have all heard about it. It's 20 years of serious training, serious structure, discipline, heartache, setbacks. But we often take for granted that that the time and effort and energy involved to create the dream, the success, the vision that we have. So I say take the time, but practice it on a daily basis, because every single step counts.
Yeah.
And it might even be sometimes the step back that actually is more important than the 2 steps forward. Yeah. So I guess my words is take the time, be kind to yourself, enjoy the journey, but understand the purpose and understand the end point where you're trying to get to. Because if we don't think big, the big will never eventuate. Yeah. So have that dream, have the milestones that you're going to achieve it, but don't be too hasty in making sure that you create it faster than anyone else. And think about successful businesses. First to market often aren't the most successful. It's often the second or the third to market that are most successful. So learn from what's out there, take the time, be kind to yourself, understand what the big thing is, and enjoy the journey getting there.
So I really just want to go back to speaking about structure. And it strikes me that, you know, elite athlete to business, you know, clearly to be an elite athlete, you've got to have a lot of structure around training programs, rituals, daily habits, all that type of thing. So structure in the work sense for a lot of people pre-pandemic was leaving your house to travel to work and go and sit in an office or a chef in a kitchen or working on it in a construction environment, whatever it might be. You're going to work and you're getting into the workplace. So for a lot of people, that's gone. So how can people, any tips and tricks, build structures and routines and healthy habits when every day for a lot of people is a different version of the one before, or similar version of the one before, rather?
Yeah, really, really good question. And I think something that most of us have been trying to conquer now for 20 months. How do I bring my norm into my abnorm? And so the way I approach this is I'm actually living my life as if I had that society structure that we had once before. I get up, I do my training. My training has changed. I no longer can go to the gym, but whether it's running, I'm not joking, up and down the driveway, or it's doing some exercises, or doing if it's my day off, it might be a mindset exercise. I actually pack my lunch still. Yeah. Okay. That is part of my routine that I have brought into my daily life here, because we can all at moments continue to go to the fridge. We'll continue to, we want to snack, on things that we shouldn't be snacking on. Does it make us feel good? No. Does it affect our ability to have that energy, that concentration, that focus? Yes. Yeah. So it's finding those little bits of routine that we did prior and bringing them into our new norm. It's getting up and putting on corporate clothes. It's getting up and, potentially putting on some makeup, or, having a shave, or whatever it may be, because these are the little things that actually make us get up and have front. And front, we want to be in the best position as possible, because we want to protect our perception to those that are important to us, whether it be our colleagues, whether it be our bosses, whether it be a client, because we all feel good about being professional, being the best version as ourselves, and contributing, so that at the end of the day, I can say, I had a good day. I feel good about what I've done today. And finding those little bits and pieces that we know that are important to us, but sometimes we just don't have the energy or effort into it. put them back into your routine so that you, at the end of the day or at the end of the week or at the end of the month, know that I have done all I can do and I'm actually proud of what I've contributed.
There's absolute gold around the concept of packing your lunch, because I guess, like so many as others in the last 18 months, you know, you walk past your fridge and you have like a Homer Simpson moment, and it seems to magnetically open the door and you end up eating something you think, I wasn't even really hungry, I just thought something to do. Yeah, so that's absolute gold to do that. Yeah, I've heard of people, you know, going out to their front door and then going back into their front door and, you know, sort of trying to get some sort of separation, really. So, so that's interesting.
Just keep trying, you know, you'll find your mode, you'll find your zone, you know, just but be creative in finding these things, you know, and write some ideas down and have them ready to go the next day, so that when you wake up, you've actually got that structure, all those ideas that you came up with at the moment of frustration, at the moment when you're like, I shouldn't have eaten that. Write down, you know, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to change this? And then you'll have that list ready to go the next day.
Yeah. And just to pick up on something we were discussing earlier that I completely agree with, around knowing when you do your best work. But if you're still in an environment where maybe your boss or your boss's boss doesn't subscribe to that, how can you have that conversation with people in the workforce around, you know, the future of work? It's really tough for a lot of people to say, you know what, I'm going to be not working between 2 and 4 because I'm going to be doing some homeschooling or whatever, and then I'm going to be online from 7 to 9. There's still, you know, a lot of people are open to it, but there's still quite a bit of old-fashioned thinking out there.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's confronting conflict and friction. And that is something that, you know, I definitely don't like to put my hand up on a daily basis for doing, but it's finding that creative means and understanding who you're talking to be able to position in a way that aligns with their values and their thoughts, but also making sure that you're protecting yourself. And so I think that if you can find means of having those difficult conversations that, you know, slowly but surely will eventually alter their ways of thinking for your benefit, is you're going to find that you're getting progress. And it's not about perfection, you know, it's about progress into the perfection, that if you're making little bit by changes and showing and demonstrating that actually altering the way in which, you know, the traditional ways of working is actually benefiting you, and you're actually being able to deliver more efficiently, more effectively, and more outstanding work. And I would say, unless they're just purely not right for the working world, they're going to start to listen and adopt the best thing for you, because that's what it's about. It's about you and what works best for you, which in turn is going to benefit the organization.